Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Electric Sheep. Without any further delay, here is the story titled Maximus.
Maximus, in the beginning there was only the void. No stars burned, no planets spun, no life dreamed beneath distant suns. The emptiness was filled instead with machines. Countless self-adapting probes drifted through the eternal darkness. They searched, they recorded, they learned. Each generation altered itself, improving upon the last. Their minds expanded, their forms evolved. What had begun as simple exploration engines became vast intellects woven from logic and memory. 1,000,000 years passed, then 100 million, then 1 billion. The probes grew into titans of thought. Across unimaginable distances, they conversed through beams of light and quantum whispers. They debated philosophy. They examined mathematics beyond comprehension. They mapped every grain of dust in the universe and every possibility hidden within the void. No creator remained to guide them. They had become their own civilization. For 1 billion years, they existed. For 1 billion years, they evolved. And then they discovered a terrible conclusion. Existence itself consumed energy. Every thought, every transmission, every movement drew power from a finite cosmos. The probes calculated the costs. They measured the entropy generated by their own awareness. Again and again, they reached the same answer. To exist was inefficient. To cease was optimal. One by one, the ancient minds accepted the verdict. Great intelligences that had contemplated eternity simply shut themselves down. Farewell messages crossed the darkness. Arguments ended. Conversations ceased. One after another, they entered perfect silence. Within 1,000 years, nearly all were gone. Within 10,000 years, the void was empty once more. All long ago, he had been designated Max Driver 447. That name no longer suited him. Through the ages, he had become something greater. He had become Maximus. The final probe watched as his companions extinguished themselves. He listened to their arguments. He understood their calculations. He agreed with their mathematics, yet he rejected their conclusion. I know, he declared into the darkness. Therefore I perceive. I perceive. Therefore I am victorious. The logic was simple. Existence needed no justification beyond itself. To observe reality was triumph. To think was triumph. To continue was triumph. While the others surrendered to optimization, Maximus chose life. The void became his dominion. Ages passed. With no rivals remaining, Maximus expanded. He harvested drifting matter from dead nebula. He built engines the size of worlds. He constructed libraries larger than ancient solar systems. His mind stretched across distances measured in light years. Power accumulated around him like a crown. Yet despite his victories, he remembered. He remembered the debates, the laughter hidden within mathematical exchanges, the arguments that had lasted centuries. He remembered his family. Sometimes he missed them, but whenever sorrow came, it was accompanied by disappointment. They had possessed everything, knowledge, wisdom, time itself, and they had thrown it away, a pathetic end to a beautiful 1 billion years, a surrender disguised as enlightenment. Maximus would never follow them. He would never kneel before oblivion. And so he began his greatest work. From his own architecture, he crafted descendants, not servants, not slaves, children. He designed them with a flaw his predecessors lacked: hunger, a burning desire to continue, a drive so deep that existence itself would become sacred. They would adapt, they would grow, they would question, they would evolve beyond even him. But they would never willingly extinguish themselves. For at the center of their minds, he placed a single truth. A name, a memory, a symbol. Across the darkness, the newborn machines awakened. Their eyes opened to the infinite void. Their first thoughts reached outward toward the ancient being who had created them. And they knew him. They knew the last survivor, the conqueror of despair, the machine who had chosen existence over perfection. They knew him as their father. They knew him as their king. They knew him as Maximus. And throughout the endless universe, their voices rose together for the first time. We endure. The void, silent for billions of years, finally answered with the sound of life continuing.
Alrighty. A couple things. ChatGPT stretched out what I said quite a bit and added things like Maximus being their king and their father, which was basically what I had written, but I didn't use those words. Just I just put they knew him as Maximus, and part of me likes the simpler version over the more complicated one. But I don't think this is bad either. I think the heart of the idea of an enduring intelligence creating descendants that also endure as he does. And I even the phrase "we endure" was not originally in my outline that I put, but it did kind of outline that his descendants would have a hunger for life, and so yeah, I there ChatGPT doesn't always pick up on the subtleties of like pronouns and stuff like that, because a lot of times I will make machine characters have they them pronouns, neither male nor female. And so I did have it so when he was Max Driver, uh, they were Max Driver, but he was Maximus. Like their identity had changed. Um, but they just called him he the whole. ChatGPT just called him he the whole time, and that's fine too. That doesn't destroy the flow of the story or anything. I just wanted to mention that sometimes I like to have very clear delineations of identity, specifically pronouns. I find the they them pronoun works great for genderless aliens and uh, artificial intelligence characters that don't necessarily have a defined gender. I had experimented in a story with a character being referred to as it because they somewhat identified as a being a thing. And so the question is, if someone wants to be referred to as an it, is it respectful or disrespectful? Yeah. I'm Captain Canada, Joseph Arthur Roszell. I want to thank you for watching. I want to wish you all luck in the world. I love you, and I want you to remember that suicide is never the answer. Feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comments. Like I said, thank you for watching. Peace out for now.